Hey, good day, everybody. I'm Kyle LeConte. Welcome to another episode of VC TV. We're super excited here to talk again about what's happening in the world from the perspective of fundraising. So whether you're a startup looking to raise capital, you're a startup trying to figure out what to do and how. Oh. All right, or you're a startup looking to navigate the world at hand and coming future, or you are an investor. Hey, Tony, can you go on mute? Thank you. Awesome. So if you are an investor looking at how to navigate this entire space. We are joined by a panel of speakers from around the world, investors that have invested in many different industries and areas of expertise. All right. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is anyone else getting that?
No.
Nope. Okay. All right. So maybe that's just me. Apologies, everybody. So today, we're going to jump right into today's panel talking about fundraising in the era of a pandemic and this current situation. As we get started, I would love to have each of our speakers introduce themselves. So we'll go around the room and do this Brady Bunch style. So starting with our first speaker, Tony, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, the company you work for, and then also maybe a quick insight as to what you're seeing in the market.
Thanks, Carl. I'm co-founder of FGC Group. We're a Japanese-British investment blockchain company. We specialize on the financial side of raising capital for investors and for businesses, bringing them together. We've been seeing a very interesting business in the last probably 6 months, where we've been looking at partnering failed projects with new projects to actually kickstart fundraising. So opposed to trying to raise money to duplicate, we're using refurbishing projects and bringing them together. So which has become a very, very interesting business, and we're basically pioneering it and now adding like mergers and acquisitions for blockchain. So it's totally different. We're focused on this side. So it's exciting times.
Oh, very exciting, actually. I want to definitely dive into that. Next, let's go to David. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kel. So my name is David Cao. I run 2 organizations. Number one is F50. So F50, we run Silicon Valley's largest entrepreneur network called SVE. And also we produce the F50 Global Capital Summit conference twice a year. This year in June 16, we have one coming for health tech. I also run a small fund called F50 Venture Fund. We invest in 30 companies, health tech, robotic, deep tech, couple sectors. I also a partner of Honeywell Ventures, which is $100 million surgical device fund. The fund is looking for surgical devices to start up to invest. So right now, my primary focus actually is in health tech. So we are looking for companies who can have a solution to answer the pandemic, to respond to the pandemic. Number 2 is that the health tech companies who can survive over the pandemic can be a strong player after the pandemic. Thank you.
Welcome, David. Very familiar with F50. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do. Luis, down in this corner, I believe.
Hi, Kyle. This is Luis Freitas. I'm from Miami. I'm a single investor. I team up with other investors to find good opportunities, either in the tech side or in the physical economy, let's say. What I can tell you is we're really seeing a lot of discussion about liquidity. A lot of companies and investors just looking for liquidity and they are running out of cash, they are taking care of their portfolios and their investment. But on the other hand, when you talk to an investor and the savvy ones, when they see an opportunity, they will jump in. So I really believe we're gonna hear a lot of the speech about liquidity and the shortage of cash. But on the other hand, we're gonna have a lot of good opportunities with distressed assets and also innovation, because those that are looking for innovation, this is the right time. We're going to have a lot of innovation in the health tech, the ad tech, and a good investor is not going to miss an opportunity to jump in and this specific opportunity with a high level of innovation and an attractive pricing. So I really think that it's a perfect time for us to discuss this, because the opportunities are gonna come up, but they're gonna be very, very specific. We gotta cherry pick those, and the startups need to be ready, just to jump off, just to go after the block of the speech of, oh no, we don't have money, we don't have that. But good opportunities, trust me, investors will always be interested in.
We're going to come back to that. I got a good question for you around that. Gokul, welcome to the show. I have you here as a speaker. Would love to welcome you and hear a quick introduction.
Hi, Kyle. Hello, everyone. I'm Gokul Alex. I'm from India. It's a great pleasure to be part of the LA CTV. I've been working on the world of blockchain technology and also on digital technologies.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're excited to have you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thilo, welcome.
Yeah, hello. My name is Thilo Bono from Berlin, Germany, and I run with PR, the leading technology PR firm for tech companies. So we work with a lot of tech heavyweights like Stripe or GitHub, Evernote, a lot of blockchain companies too, like Elixir, for example, and helping them getting the attention that they deserve with all kind of PR, social media, content marketing stuff. And I'm also invested in 10 venture capital funds all around the world, in the US, in Japan, and in Singapore and Vietnam, etc. So quite a good overview what's going on all around the world, but also do some direct investment in promising company where we, of course, can also add value with our services.
Wonderful. Welcome to the show. And we've also got Peter. Peter, are you there?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Would love to hear just a quick introduction of yourself.
Sure. My name is Peter Lyons. I came to this space really, coming from the telecom industry and initially sort of seeing the idea of like mobile money and really, I think in a lot of emerging markets, it was so clear, when you go to an ATM machine in Nigeria or Tanzania and, you get a stack of paper, that's basically, worthless. Something just in terms of managing all the paper and handling all the cash, it became clear to me that digital was the way to go. Crypto comes in. I think, from my time at the World Economic Forum, it was pretty clear that a lot of investors, a lot of institutional investors were looking at the space. I launched together with some colleagues, Atomic Capital. We were looking at the security tokens, issuance. And, I think that this is something that, 5 years from now, for some of the reasons I'm going to discuss, I think it's going to really be embraced by a lot of not only institutional investors, but I think a lot of central banks, a lot of governments are going to be forced to look at tokenization and stablecoins.
We're definitely going to get into that a little later today. And we've got one other speaker who will be joining us here just shortly. Tess, the founder of Tess Ventures, super excited to have her, who will be joining us again shortly. So everyone, welcome. Thank you very much for sharing the quick introduction. Let's dive right in. This is an era that no one on this call has experienced before. It's a multifaceted situation globally everything's being affected in some way, shape, or form. Navigating it is almost near impossible on the forefront, but we all have experiences on how to navigate pieces of it and therefore come out hopefully on the other side. So for each of you, would love to just kind of hear, what opportunities are you seeing coming out of this, or opportunities starting to emerge today as investors? And Luis, I do want to start with you on this, and we'll go around and make sure everyone gets a chance. Opportunities could be industries, they could be sectors, they could be new niches, as well as we've seen a huge surge in things like telemedicine and e-commerce. What are you seeing as an opportunity out there today?
So I think that first, what I see as an opportunity is all the virtual communication, virtual contact, because this is what I can tell you. It will be like a big market, because from that big market we go down to telemedicine, we go down to ed tech, because, for example, who has children that is going through the homeschooling experience is having probably a bad experience, because all the ed tech platforms, they were not ready for this intensive homeschooling experience. So not only the homeschooling, the virtual classroom, but also the homework platforms, they are all kind of tricky, not easy to deal. So sorry. So I think this is something that is gonna be they're gonna be investing and developing a lot of new opportunities, new technologies, and so new opportunities to invest. On the telemedicine, on the health ed, I think all kinds of health ads, all kinds of innovations on the health side. So this is very important. This is a way for you to put the doctors and the nurses in a safer place. They can talk to their patients. They can diagnoses, they can run diagnoses, they can run tests, and not even get close to the patient. In a case as we are having now, that we're just exposing our health workers to a big disease. So I think this kind of virtual communication, all this this kind of communication will have to improve. We know it's going to have to improve. So this is going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of opportunities there. And I really believe on the other side, and this is not only the tech side, but also on the, let's say, the real economy, the physical economy, we're going to have a lot of distressed assets. So unfortunately, this crisis is it's already affecting a lot of businesses. So they are running out of cash. They are getting to a tough situation. So it's going to be a situation, a moment for a lot of distressed assets. And whoever has, the guts to work with this stress, perhaps this is the right time. I don't think that it's a bad thing, because those who still have a nice business, a nice innovation, nice idea, but they are just running out of cash because of the current situation, there's an opportunity to keep the business going. Okay, you're not going to be the controlling shareholder. You're going to have probably a big partner, but your business is not going to die. So this is an opportunity. So I really believe, just summing up here, opportunities on managing the distance in a health way and in a productive way. I can tell you from my experience, again, just talking about ed tech. My son, he's 5 years old. For his homework, we use 4 apps, just one for each topic. So it's not productive. It's very hard for him still to manage and access all those with a lot of passwords, a lot of login info. So there's a lot of room there for improving. And I was even talking to a friend of mine that he's a lawyer, and he was saying that now when there's interaction between the plaintiff and the defendant and also the judge, that previously was this kind of relationship was 100% physical. Now they're allowing the use of Zoom, the use of other virtual ways of communicate. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities there, and also again on distress. But just quickly, just getting back to the point I had on the opening.
Sure.
All investors, they're gonna talk. The first answer is gonna be, we don't have cash. We're taking care of portfolio. We're taking care of our current investment.
Hold that real quick. I'm gonna come back to that. Yeah, let's hold that real quick. Don't worry. We're coming back to that. I know where you're going. I want to come back to it though. So, David, what are you seeing as opportunity in this market? You mentioned your focus very heavily around the medical and health industry. What else are you seeing, or what are you seeing change as opportunities during this time?
Sure. There are lots of changes. So what we saw is that there are a couple of sectors were affected 90%. The activity of investment reduced significantly. Most of investment stopped. But there are a few sectors which I call being supported by the current activities. Because if it's winter in North Pole, must be summer in South Pole. So what we saw, the couple sectors has lots of activities. Number one, of course, health tech. We'll come back to health tech just a little bit. After the health tech, there's a couple sectors have greatly benefited from the pandemic. Maybe benefit the wrong word, but it is the reality right now. So we call it touchless business. There are lots of businesses in the past rely on the handshake. And now many technologies are being developed around how do we do a business without touch each other. That's one of the biggest area many people are looking at. The next sector we are looking for the entertainment, social. So what we saw is that in the past, people rely on face-to-face connections to enjoy each other. Now you have to do virtually engage. How do we do social on the virtual environment? Number three, of course, digitalization. And now everybody realizes that the cash is actually potentially contain virus. Okay, so I think that's a great opportunity for all the digitalization solutions. Now come back to health. Because of the pandemic, we think, for instance, America is one of the richest and the strongest countries. Now realize that not everything is planned as hoped. The health system is under investment in many different ways. That's the consensus from everybody right now. So what we saw is that a significant increase of attention to investors and government fundings, grants in the health tech startup. Particularly, of course, other than fighting with COVID-19, we saw telemedicine is a great booming business. It's also falling my category of a touchless business. We also saw a new way called chronic disease. Chronic disease, how to support the people has disease, previous has disease. Does it has to have to do a face-to-face visit to the hospital? So chronic disease treatment is also a booming business. So in general, health tech is increasing very rapidly, and we saw many companies get funded recently. So this is a growing area. As I said, other sectors may be affected by maybe 80%, but health tech in this few areas are increasing a lot.
And when you say in investments recently, are you referring to the past year, past couple months, past month? What are you seeing in terms of investment level?
I'm talking about last 3 months. Last 4 months.
All right. There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Thank you, David. Gokul, you're in India. India is going through a crazy surge right now of change. What are you seeing as opportunities that are starting to sprout up locally for you guys?
Kyle, I see a lot of convergence in India, especially in the area of internet and fintech and health tech and edutech areas. So if you have seen in the last 1 year or so, large-scale internet platforms have been rolled out in India, driven by uh, Reliance Industries, which was they have launched a geo telecommunication platform, and they have brought more than 100 million users within a short period of time. Currently, they are partnering with Facebook, and they recently got investment from Visa Ventures, a massive investment. And so the convergence between the telecom of Geo and the internet platforms of Facebook like WhatsApp and Instagram are going to happen. So what we are going to see is a further consolidation in the digital platform space in India. And that is happening at the infrastructure level. At the same time, what we are seeing is three segments: digital innovation in cloud, mobility, health tech, and fintech, and digital transformation in edutech and social tech. At the same time, we are also seeing huge disruptions in the hospitality industry, restaurants, and physical entertainment space. So, and we are also seeing that there is increased spending from government in a lot of areas like travel and transportation. And there is an increased vigor from the government investment in the space of railway, and in more investment from government in the healthcare sector. So what we are also seeing is the investors are showing great enthusiasm to uh, to support the startup ecosystem at this time. There has been a lot of investment in startups in the recent couple of weeks and months. So I'm not seeing any less activity in the startup ecosystem and from the private equities and investors in India. What I believe is uh, India has been a little fortunate in the first wave of COVID attack, and they got enough time to prepare their infrastructure and their digital, especially their digital infrastructure. India has rolled out a contact tracing application for their more than 50 to 100 millions of citizens. And so the connectivity, the digital connectivity in India is at a super scale right now. And a lot of states in India are also trying to support the startups. They're also in talks with international investors and attracting them. They're seeing that there will be a geopolitical change. There'll be a lot of change in the manufacturing sector. A lot of large scale companies will be exploring markets outside China for manufacturing. And this is something, there has been a lot of support from few states in India for attracting foreign investment. And also we are seeing regulations. There'll be more uh, stricter regulations and due diligence when it comes to investments from international investors. So I would say this is a time when we are seeing all the three uh, trends: digital transformation of the existing and mainstream business, digital innovation of the most relevant business like health tech, fintech, and telecommunication. And some disruption is happening in the other space. For example, in the restaurant and entertainment industry, how they are now trying to cope up with this scenario is they're trying alternate modes of business models and alternate modes of investment. There is a lot of I'm part of a large investor network called IPV Ventures right now, and we are looking at a lot of new fintech companies, social tech and health tech companies, and there has been a lot of interest in these companies at this space. Like uh, like I think Louis mentioned here, there'll be a lot of investment in the cashless area. In the India has already done a wave of demonetization in the year of 2018. Now we are going the sequence of it, and I would say globally, I would like to add one more point. We would see radical markets, emergence of radical markets. This is what we are going to see world over. Radical markets is a theory proposed by Glenn Weil, and even supported by people, visionaries like Vitalik Buterin. we are going to see in the post-pandemic era, the world is going to reorganize itself into more efficient and radical markets. And this is where we are seeing a lot of such trend in the post-pandemic era. I'm witnessing those change in India as well.
Wow. Wow. Well, let's hope they're for the better. And with all that data being collected, what opportunities exist within the data is going to be super exciting. You know, next I want to bring up the topic of how has fundraising changed. So a lot of investors have either started focusing on their companies, may not be writing checks. Things have maybe slowed down, sped up. We've got a lot of new models. Tony, I want to dive into yours and Pete's. What is happening and what has changed either for the short term or for the long term on the funding landscape? So Pete, let's start with you. What are you seeing change? I know you brought up STOs. I would love to dive deep into that. What are you seeing change in the investment landscape right now?
Well, I think broadly speaking, the maturity and the compliance aspects are, growing in terms of, solutions, and, there's different sort of options, for example, for like custody, right? So now you can go to institutional investors, hypothetically, and, provide them a service that meets all their compliance requirements. The issue is institutional investors, I think, have not traditionally raised funds specifically to invest in, security tokens, for example, even if those things are underlined by, it's really just the stock of a company or a bond or something like that. I think what we're going to see going forward is this sort of increasing focus on, for investors, the increasing importance of liquidity, especially private placements. I think we see it today in terms of last month when cryptocurrencies really sort of had some heavy selling. A lot of the selling, there was liquidation into Tether, for example, or USDC, right? Why not into fiat? Well, frankly, there's increased liquidity, increased transaction speed, and also these are non-taxable events. If you're going into a fiat currency, you're just sort of entering a world that is, more problematic, for traders. So I think investors are going to become a bit more like, focused on liquidity. And I think those solutions like security tokens that are providing some degree of liquidity with compliance, I think institutional investors are going to start looking at those, second half of the year once they're sort of emerged from the, shelter in place mentality.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point. I think liquidity is the name of the game. To your point, Thilo, you're an investor in multiple funds. You do direct deals as well. Are you seeing a similar trend here? Are you seeing or feeling a similar trend of looking for liquidity or funds that are trying to search out for liquidity as well?
First of all, it's really amazing to see that still funds do deals remotely, even without seeing the team, etc. So also here, a lot of transition and adaptation happens already. So it's not that everything stops, at least here what I see in Germany and Europe, there's still a lot of transactions going on and also sizable transactions. What we also see is that, of course, a lot of VCs focusing on taking care of their existing portfolio, but still a lot of funds have raised in the last 6 months, for example, new funds. So they have a lot of cash, and obviously right now is also a very good time to invest and to really be like a truffle pick and find kind of the pearls and making here clever investment. And as we are here also a lot of involved with crypto and blockchain today, I by myself did a direct investment some weeks ago in a company called ZK Systems, which is a equipment as a service company for leading industrial manufacturing. And why I mentioned it is, I think investors looking more and more for really substantial companies that really can change the game and really are can be also kind of an profiter, benefiting from the crisis. Because, for example, in this case, equipment as a service, new business model for industrial manufacturing. I mean, obviously, all the traditional companies, Mittelstand companies, enterprises, they're now looking for new tools to improve their business models, working more efficient, etc. And when new technologies, blockchain, etc., can help with that, is obviously something that is wonderful. And we see that in B2B sales, for example, where usually software as a service tool, blockchain, things, etc., had sales cycles from, let's say, 6 months. Now it's more down to 6 days, because companies making very quick and fast decisions. They know they have to react and to respond to the situation. So I think right now it's a fantastic time. There are fantastic opportunities to invest in substantial companies that are potential also benefiting from the entire situation because of their acceleration function in a digitization process.
So you feel like investors out there right now, including yourself, this is a great time. I mean,
Absolutely.
we should be looking left and right.
It is. Let's say for everyone who has enough cash on the bank, it's definitely fantastic times. I mean, right now, I know at least here in my direct environment, alone in Germany, 3 funds, they are right now raising also specifically a fund, because I mean, it's statistically proven, right? Funds and also companies that are founded in a crisis. When you look at the dot-com bubble, when you look at the Lehman Brothers situation, the Euro crisis, all these crises that happened in the past, companies, by the way, also including ourselves, or funds that raise in these times are usually way more performing way more better.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, cash is the name of the game, right? Liquidity to
it was actually always,
well.
right? It was
right, always.
Because when you see an opportunity, you have to react quickly, right? You can't say, oh, let's see in 6 months, right? I mean, it's always good to have a bit get on the bank to not just in times of crisis, but here especially. I mean, we were ourselves making right now several investments into funds, but also direct investments, but only really for high quality companies and high quality opportunities. And there are tons of them. And it's really, I think it's a fantastic time. I mean, of course, there are a lot of companies that are suffering, and there are a lot of companies that are also in trouble because of the situations. But you have to see that a lot of things, especially when it comes to B2B tech, it is because of uncertainty, right? It's not because there are bad companies or they have management problems or whether the team doesn't work or technology is not good enough. Often things are postponed, things are on pause, things are done by out of uncertainty, and of course they need then liquidity, they need cash, and there are new opportunities. And I think that's great times.
I'm with you. And Tony, to that point, I mean, cash is king, creates new opportunities, new models. You were mentioning in the beginning, you guys have a new model. You're one of the first to do it. Would love to hear your thoughts on where the investment market is today and where things have changed.
Sure. The one thing is the market is driven by one thing, traditional market, crypto market. It's driven by human beings, okay? And the human emotion of greed and fear, or the perception of greed and fear. So there's a lot of people talking about investment. It's all about the human aspect of it, what the perception is, okay? At the moment, the Bitcoin rally is having a huge effect for people. But also, if you look at the NASDAQ a couple of days ago was above for the year still. So the whole thing is the perception of it, okay? Then you have the likes of Warren Buffett that's sitting on the side because they think there's another crash. I do believe cash is king, and I do believe there's opportunities at the moment, but we and our investors aren't pushing into it. We'd rather drip feed it into the marketplace because there's always that black swan that could erupt and have a huge effect on the marketplace. And we started talking about new business models and stuff like that. And we've been pioneering one from Japan, which is basically taking over bankrupt blockchain and crypto projects. So even if they're not bankrupt or they out of liquidity, they come to us and we say, okay, guys, you've got a good business, but you need this and this to succeed. So then we go and partner up with another business that has it and basically merge them together. So the whole thing is keeping value. That's the main thing, is keeping value, but also in a good economy, people don't think about getting their money out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's all about what's my exit strategy? How am I going to get it? So we've been building the model where we're able to, it's asset stripping in a lack of a better word. We can say what we want, but it's asset stripping, taking that and placing it with new ones, keeping the old investors involved as well, so they can have an upside as well. But also what this does more than anything else is saves time. So there are lots of components that new businesses want. Probably they've already been created, or 60-70% done. Just by adding them to it, it saves time. And that's the one kind of investment that is crucial, because without time, time's the only thing you can't buy. So we believe if we can speed something up, get it to market, that will have a huge impact and greater returns. But also focusing on an exit as well, because we always believe when we go into investments, what is the exit? When are we going to go out? Because if we're going to keep with the market going like crazy, the emotions come up and people lose out. So
that's a good point. We're going to come back to time in just a moment. Tess, welcome. I want to get a chance to hear your thoughts as well. Where are we at in this investment market? I mean, are you seeing things change? You run a fund as well. What are you seeing change or doing differently now than you may have 6 months ago and going forward?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. And I think a lot of the panelists have shared some really good insights. A little bit about Test Venture. I'm the founder of Test Venture. I, in undergrad, had started a company. So with a lot of entrepreneurial, really paying my tuition. I did that very early on. Then later, with a lot of, good timing and sacrifices, by the time I graduated, had several acquisition offers. So my co-founder and I decided to, take that and then I personally started investing. I wanted to pay it forward and help other founders. I think that mentality has had a lot of value for myself and all the founders I've met. So that's given me a very good direction in terms of thinking through cycles, because as an operator who has been through has given me the insight. So with that said, I was able to very early on just learn a lot, came to the Valley, spent 2 years of time at Stanford, and really try to get mentorship. And all of this leads up to my point that why having good advisors and investors strategically in your company will help you a lot on your advisory board, because I myself have been able to share with companies that, the Wuhan situation is happening. You need to raise a lot of money now when the mass market has not seen this. So, was very fortunate in, seeing that part and being very helpful to my portfolio companies. And a second note is having investors that have, an exit experiences, meaning recently, the last 2 years had several exits that had invested during my time at Stanford. One of them is in construction tech, one of them is in biotech, and one of them is in VR. VR is exciting because that truly probably bubbled up because of what is happening with the pandemic. And, those are all, things that have been very exciting. In the sense of, how has investing changed? I myself am still actively investing. I've always been, had a high bar for due diligence. So that does not change in this pandemic time. I have not, stepped up on my diligence because it's always been a very high bar. My philosophy of advising first, then investing, and then helping other teams, helping the team bring in other, funding from strategic investors, which recently one of my portfolio company in compliance tech has just raised 3 million. So this company in particular is able to be focused on product development now and not have to worry about funding. But for the teams that have not had that chance to, truly, been probably focusing on product building the last 12 months, and then selling, they realize that right now they're at the end of their runway. So I really do believe my best advice for them is really try to get existing investors to see if they'll top up and, help them with an extra, bridge round, or reach out to, folks and really, strategic investors or investors that's on your, in your company to help make intros to the right folks. That itself has been very critical, and my portfolio companies have fortunately not struggled. I've continuously have made investments in biotech, and then also in privacy tech, because of compliance tech. All of this is even more important, top of mind right now. And I have great respects for a privacy leader, Anne Kavudin. She herself does privacy by design and privacy by security. So all of this fits into pandemic. All of this fits into having great advisors, investors on board to help you navigate all these great questions that, Latoken and Kyle here is asking the panel.
Yeah, and a great point. And that leads into my next question. So as Tess mentioned, having good advisors who can help navigate this storm is key. Luis, I want to come back to you. I stopped you. I held you off. I want to come back to that question is what advice do you have to startups out there looking to fundraise during this time, right? To take advantage of opportunities that may exist as these markets are changing sometimes on a daily basis versus a monthly basis. What advice? Let's start with you, and then we'll go around to everybody before we get to our next section.
Sure. I think the first one is just look around and learn what are the needs that are growing with this pandemic. So everyone will be interested in investing in something that will solve a new problem. Because we already have old problems, we already have old solutions. Now we have new problems. We're gonna need new solutions, and whoever is jumping ahead of the others will have a better opportunity to have a better return. And so this is something that it's I think innovation. It's the name of the game, has been the name of the game for over the last few years. And again, just look around and see what society will need in the short term. Second, I think you have to be ready for tough negotiation. Again, we heard a lot of this, the cash phrase, cash is king. So now who has the cash has the power to push a negotiation. So if you have an idea, if you have a startup, be ready for a tough negotiation. Be ready to be open to different conditions, different terms from what you have heard over the last months or weeks, because whoever has the cash now has the power to either save and make her business successful, or just just abandon it. So this is a tough reality now, and be prepared. If again in a normal situation, good investors have good questions, and as Tess was saying, hard due diligence. Now the bar is going to raise. Tess was mentioning, so her bar is already high, but I really believe that we're going to be the screening process. We're going to be very, very strict. So be prepared. Be prepared for tough questions. For what's going to happen if we stay locked down for another 3 months? What's going to happen with your business? What's going to happen with your cash flow? Are you open to a further dilution if we need to put more cash in the business? So, again, good opportunities. There is cash around. There are investors interested in putting money in good businesses. You just got to be prepared.
Awesome. Thank you. And David, same question to you. What other advice would you have for startups looking to fundraise during this time?
The advice is that not fundraising. Fundraising right now, actually, other than the few sectors who are benefiting from the challenge we are facing, fundraising is extremely difficult, and most of the investors are slowed down. So what we are, because the challenge, all the biggest unicorns, not mention one work, but also Uber, Airbnb, all those companies are facing. Now everybody realizes that cash flow is important. So not means the managing cash flow, but also means making money is more important than before. So my suggestion to the startup is that this should change the part. In the past, you always want to raise money, then raise money for next round. After burn cash, then raise another round. So now, other than a few sectors, most of the sectors are being impacted by the new model we call the cash flow, the revenue. So investors are very careful looking at the company's ability to making money. So I would say my #1 suggestion for the startups is try to make money first. Make that a priority.
It's good. It's a good point. Pete, any other things you want to add on to that? What startups can do to prepare in this fundraising environment?
I would say at this point, similar to what David said, I would say just focus on the basics. Really just put your head down and, try to do what you can with, the resources that you have. Really try not to put the carriage before the horse in terms of, doing around and splurging on, a marketing budget and everything else. I think it's going to be much more like almost, like you're in your college dorm room, sort of like tinkering and trying to sort of like, build or, out of the garage, like that kind of mentality, and really just be as careful as you can with any expenses that you it's really the lean startup model.
That's a good point. And I think we all lived that for a little bit, and then we got away from it, and things got a little too large, and now we've got to come back to that. So it's a great reference point back. Thilo, I want to finish out with you on this one because you do a lot of PR in this space as well. From a PR perspective, how should companies be handling or even thinking about things right now? Trying to navigate through this. I think I can speak for everyone here. We've all gotten newsletters or emails from companies that we may not even know of at this point, just constantly telling us the same message or the same message every other day. That's not a PR strategy. In an area, Pete's laughing. Pete knows it's true too. In an era like this, what can people do from a PR standpoint?
Absolutely. And I think communication is as always absolutely key. You know that PR affects so many areas of your business, right? It's for employer branding, attracting investors. It's about the clients, etc. There's so many areas that are affected. So that's absolutely mission critical. And here also, I think it comes into play if all these talks about mission, vision, purpose, etc. Right? When the sun is shining, it's always easy to talk about this, right? In a crisis, then that you can prove you say that proof in the pudding, right? And it says what is literally just PR, or if you really stand for that. And I think a great example is even it's a very sad, but the example from Airbnb, right? There's a laid off a lot of people. Can commend everyone to read the letter from the CEO to their employees and all the initiatives that they took. I think it's an amazing example for very transparent, honest, and very also authentic communication. What we see, of course, a lot of companies not just focusing now on crisis communication, because but a lot of companies also now understand the importance of internal communication, that especially in crisis, even if your company actually doing well, of course, people fear, will there be layoffs? What is my company doing? Is my company in good health? What is our leadership team planning? So internal communication becomes key. And of course, also now where everything moves literally digital, right? Things like speaking opportunities and personal branding initiatives, or when, for example, you rely on business development because you go to conferences, right? To collect business cards, things like that, but all doesn't happen. So now there's a massive shift when you look at LinkedIn, people putting white papers out, attending online webinars, etc. I think this kind of shift in online lead generation, that's now even more important to produce proper digital content. And also when it comes, even also for B2B companies, by the way, to use all these channels very properly. And I think that's absolutely important, especially in crisis, communication is absolutely mission critical.
No, it's a very good point, and definitely check out Airbnb's letter if you haven't. They did a phenomenal job on that. And again, it's a sad situation at hand, but everyone has to handle it in some way, shape, or form. They did a good job. So
if you want to know how not to do it, see the same thing from Bird. The contrary thing. They just laid off, I think, 400 people just with a Zoom call all at once without any communication. So I think if you want to see the best example and the worst example, check out both of them.
If you can meet in the middle, good. If you can be on the good side, even better. But everyone, thank you so much. All of our speakers, great points. I want to switch now to the next section of our talk today. We've got 3 outstanding founders, each who want to share a little bit about what they're doing to us as investors to give them feedback. And the way that this session will work, we'll have each company go and pitch for 5 minutes. We'll hold all questions until all companies have finished. You, as our judges and speakers, will have a form that you can fill out to rate each startup. At the very end, Elena will collect from our team. She'll collect all of the scores, and we will announce a winner of today's competition. So again, fill out the form, hold all Q&A till the end, and startups, you'll have about 5 minutes to go. And again, we'll get to you, your questions at the end as well. First up, Mustafa, welcome to the show. Are you ready to present?
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I am, Kyle. Thanks very much.
All right, floor is yours.
Thank you. I share my screen.
Yep.
Good afternoon again, everybody. Thanks for participating. Thanks to all the speakers with all their input. My name is Mustafa Azalcin. I know we only have 5 minutes, so let me put myself on the clock before I go. I'm the founder of Kashi. Kashi is a cashback rewards program where consumers will be able to earn cashback in the form of a crypto token with transparent value called Kashi. And Kashi partners will be able to send campaigns and promotions to those members that want them at the time they will be going shopping. Kashi will be addressing 4 main problems, mainly that cryptocurrency is complex to understand and adopt for the average person on the street. Loyalty programs have become much commoditized. Marketing spend is inefficient, and money transfers are expensive, slow, and laborious, specifically in the markets we'll be targeting. Through Kashi, we aim to make using cryptocurrency and transacting cryptocurrency simple for the average person on the street via their smartphone. And we'll be doing this via the Kashi Rewards program. First, consumers and merchants will be using the program and transacting, earning and spending the Kashi tokens, again, which will be transparent in value, fixed in value. And after that, once we reach a critical mass with the number of members that we have and the number of merchants that we have in the markets that we're targeting, we will look to introduce the Kashi coin on certain exchanges, the token being one, once we have established and are trusted. So why now? We've been working on this for the past couple of years, obviously, based on the reasons that we've been talking about, or you've been talking about during this session. Certain things have slowed down. But when Facebook announced that they were going to introduce Libra back in, I think it was June last year, they certainly hadn't made that decision last year, and I'm fairly certain it wasn't made in 2018. That was something that they'd been thinking about for a long time before that. And when they made their announcement last year, they made it because they know. And there are a couple of main hurdles that anybody that wants to introduce cryptocurrency will face and are facing. And those are reasons of practicality and regulatory. And we have both of those bases covered. I've already explained, and we'll go on to explain how we cover them via the use case of a rewards program that's very easy to use and engaging. And also whether it's KYC, AML, CTF, and any of the regulations that are needed in order to have a cryptocurrency, we will have already covered them during the rewards program phase, because we will not be a cryptocurrency during the initial phase. We'll be a crypto token that's being used as part of a rewards program. And as Pete mentioned earlier on, it's regarding money in certain countries, and he mentioned Nigeria. That's actually our launch market. You exchange your dollars and you get literally a bag of cash to carry around with you. The target markets are, we'll be looking to launch in 7 markets in Africa, beginning with Nigeria. Our key segment are people with smartphones. And if we look at the urban populations and smartphone penetration into those regions, these are the numbers that we have. And we have a very detailed business case. And these numbers are from 2017. As far as the landscape goes, there are a lot of programs out there, but as I've already argued, and I'll be happy to answer questions on, loyalty programs over the years have become commoditized. There are very few programs that are in the unique, engaging, and relevant segment that we are positioned in. And in this respect, our differentiators are, I'll go over a few of these because we don't have time to go over all of them. One-touch membership, no long forms to be able to become a member of any program, of any partner. Just one touch, love their brand, that's it, you're their member. Anonymity, data will belong to the members. If a merchant wants to know more about one of their members, any personal identifiable information, they will have to purchase that data from that member using the Kashi token, or in future, the Kashi coin. One thing that is extremely important to us is social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. We are targeting to have a fixed portion of our operating revenues invested in, and we will actively participate in social responsibility projects. And our aim is 5% of operating revenues. As far as the product goes, it's completely mobile, and transactions will be as simple as scanning a barcode. In relation to the blockchain aspect, will be built on Stellar blockchain. The transaction model is a transaction fee. We will be charging a minimum transaction fee, and we expect at least a $25 a month per spend. This is just in Nigeria. It's higher in South Africa and in Mauritius. And by 2025, by the end of 2025, we're expecting a gross profit of just shy of 20 million. There'll be ongoing marketing campaigns, which we're all familiar with. In our first year, we will look to be having 25 merchants at the very least, and we do have, and we continue to have ongoing meetings with them. And there are a couple that are waiting to launch once we have the platform ready. And then at the end, once we are a coalition of consumers and merchants, we will look to introduce the Kashi coin, the symbol of which you see in the middle there, and trusted being the operative word. That's our advisory team. Our financial projections. The top table shows what would happen if we only launched in Nigeria, and we're happy to share our business case. It's a very detailed business case, which we've refined over the past couple of years. That's the numbers for if we only launched in Nigeria. And the bottom table shows us if we launch in the 7 markets that we're targeting within 5 years, by the end of year 5. We've already registered Nigeria, we've already registered the UK, London entity, and we've established our trademark in both of those countries. Please visit us at ukashi.com for more information, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have during the session. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. Really appreciate it. Again, judges, make sure you get your scores in, save your questions, get them written down. If you don't have access to the form, send a quick ping to Elena, and she'll make sure she gets that over to you. Next up, I'd like to welcome our next founder, Eduardo. Are you there?
Yeah, hello, Kyle. How's everybody? Everything good?
Good. The floor is yours, sir. Go ahead and take it away.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen right now. Just set the time on here. Yeah, okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Eduardo Salvatore, the founder and CEO of PandaPay, the first Brazilian wallet with blockchain technology in Brazil. So the crypto landscape in Brazil is evolving, getting more mature. We have more than 1.4 million registered accounts on the crypto exchange. We have more than 1.5 thousand BTC traded per day. The regulators start looking into it, and the global trend of stable tokens are keeping up, growing each time faster. We have more than 60 stable coins, and they are getting around 40% of trading volumes of the market. We have on-chain collateral tokens, off-chain, big banks behind it. So the concept behind PandaPay is to pay, receive, and save in local currency using blockchain technology. So bringing out all the problems around volatility and stuff of usual cryptos and bringing a stable solution backed by reais, or Brazilian currency. So we offer payments, financial services, low fees. We have a ERC20 attached to the wallets. We are entering on the remittance business also, integrated with Ripple Nets, and we have a limited transfer, QR code payments. So what actually differentiates us from our competitors is in Brazil is blockchain technology, and the remittance business, when we also here in Brazil, we saw that you first have to get the sets of financial service to service the end user and then apply technology on it, like the cherry on the top. So we have a Brazilian token, as I said, Brasilis is connected to the wallet that can register and keep registry of all the balances, the biggest level of security and transparency. We can actually think of integrating the token with other entities to bypass the banks. So right now we have, we are developing our next version of the product. We done extremely well on some startup prizes and competitions. We working alongside the central bank in Brazil to the PIX. There are instant payment system that is going to be live on November. So the problem in Brazil that the environment is evolving, but the banks, the large banks, are not crypto friendly. So they're impact on fees, the worst user experience, and they're even closing some bank accounts for crypto exchanges. So our solution is to launch our BRLS, our Brazilian stable token, integrated with PanaPay and also with the crypto exchanges, so they can trade and arbitrage between exchanges and even cash in, cash out through the wallet, improving liquidity for the market and more optionality, reducing fees. So our inspiration is the USD coin with Coinbase behind it and the Silvergate Bank, US Bancorp Custodian banks, strong partnerships. We also have a unique position ourselves, I'll show to you later. The competitive crypto landscape regarding stable tokens, we only have 3 solutions. 2 of them, the user and Ross, are actually getting started and even, not improving anymore. The BRS 6.1 address, but it's still, there's a lot of opportunity and people are starting to look at it. But we ourselves have a unique position because PanaPay is our fintech, Flow BTC is the crypto exchange inside our group, and Brazil now is a major middle-sized bank here and crypto-friendly bank that serves around 8 Brazilian exchanges. So we have all the points of the environment. We can have the fintech, the wallet, the exchanges, and the custodian bank behind it. So we do not depend on the large institutions that are not crypto-friendly. So that being said, we have all the pieces to the puzzle to take over the Brazilian market. Here is the product that we're developing right now, how we cash in and cash out through the wallet, plugging in through the stable token on every entity, every crypto exchange. Regarding a 50% share of the market on trading fees, assuming 20% of trading fees on the stable coin around over the market, the Brazilian market, we have 3,050K USD. The next step will be blockchain for payments, connecting wallets, staking, DeFi products, tokenization, BRS20. We can get the revenue from floating fees, network effect gains. Our first deal of any M&A in the crypto space were the Flow BTC. We have a core team that is used to blockchain technology, more than 5 years in it. So that's it. I'll be answering all questions that you might have. Thank you all. That's it.
Thank you, Eduardo. It was a great sprint and appreciate it. Again, judges, make sure you get your scores in and save your questions here for just a few more minutes. Next up, I want to welcome Charlie. Charlie, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you all ready?
I think I am.
Okay, floor is yours. Welcome, Charlie, and let you take it away from here.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon to you. I'm here in Chicago. My name is Charlie Uchel. I'm the co-founder of Ceres. And Ceres is really a fintech, regtech company for the legal cannabis industry. So again, what is it? Like I said, doing that fintech, regtech, but we have 2 core businesses. And that's a lending business for the cannabis industry and a blockchain-based transaction network for it. So what is the problem that we're solving? There's really 2 that we're solving with our company. There's a cannabis industry problem, And that deals with, because it's illegal in the United States at the federal level, but legal at the state, leads to money laundering, tax fraud, tax evasion, a lot of robbery and theft. And then lately, and we see with this COVID-19, dealing with cash, and dirty dollars can be dangerous. Token industry also has a problem that's been especially highlighted in this past week. Especially with what just happened with Telegram and a $1.7 billion offering. They said they would fight with the SEC. They ended up losing. And they put their investors at risk by not going through the proper procedures and seeing what they could and could not do. Ceres addresses both these issues. And it's with our solution by doing one SEC filing done under Reg A+, a Form 1A, which we initially filed in December of 2018. And under that Form 1A, issuing two different types of securities: Ceres Coin, our stable coin, and Ceres Token, our security token. Let's talk about the stable coin. The stable coin is basically a BSA compliance tool, Bank Secrecy Act compliance tool. By utilizing our coin, every transaction is tracked and traced. We'll be able to identify who, what, where, when, and how much. And more importantly, in line with the Bank Secrecy Act requirements, is this money being transacted through the normal course of business and the normal behavior from that specific customer? What makes ours unique for the marijuana industry, and you look off to the left here, fiat is only used to buy and sell an SEC qualified security. So the flow of dollars is never to buy cannabis, it's just used to buy a security. But more importantly, and what the regulators, I think, would really like, and the banks would really like, all transactions will post to a permissioned, immutable, auditable ledger. So what do we get to our investment, or we provide to our investors that are going to buy our security token? We just discussed about the transaction fees going from Ceres Coin, but we also have a lending business, which is a symptom of the problem in the cannabis industry. When you look at the lending business, a great comp for this is what's going on with a company called Innovative Industrial Properties, publicly traded company, publicly traded REIT. 4 years ago, they raised $60 million to start that REIT. They're worth $1 billion today in market cap. We'd be doing the same type of business with them with 20 million raised from that token offering. On the coin transaction fees that we talked about, we're basically doing the same thing as a seed to sale tracking company. And again, a great comp for that. It's what right now a company called MJ Freeway is doing. They were recently bought as part of a special acquisition company transaction. They now list on the NASDAQ and they trade for $100 million. We do everything they do, except we have a payment system attached to that. These are projections on what we think we can do upon getting our token sale off and complete, which we expect to be in Q3. What we've done so far, we are going to be the third ever SEC qualified digital asset. You can think Blockstack here. We'll be the next one in line. Blockstack raised $23 million in 2 months off their qualification. In Rhode Island, we are right now a finalist for to implement a blockchain system to oversee, monitor, administer, and regulate their medical marijuana program. And with the US FinCEN, we were invited to present to them on a banking solution for the cannabis industry. In September 2019, you can see Canaccord recognized us as one of the top fintech companies in the blockchain business in the world. Our team, co-founder, my partner, we've known each other for 30 years. We both went to West Point together. And our CTO, no one more knows, I think, more about what's going on with Hyperledger Fabric, which what our protocols build on, than Sean McNamara. How to get involved, and what I really want to talk to the venture investors here today, this is a great combination between a crowd sale of these tokens, which LA Token offers, but we give you an opportunity to take an equity stake in Ceres and then still have options to acquire tokens when this token sale goes live. We are looking for strategic investors who have relationships in banking, government, compliance, payments, or else in the cannabis industry to help us grow. There's my contact information, and I appreciate having the opportunity to speak to you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charlie. Really appreciate it. Again, judges and speakers, make sure you get your scores in to Elena, and she can start to begin to total those up and let me know who the winner is, and I'll let you know very shortly. But while you're doing that, let's start with our very first startup, Mustafa. Does anyone have any questions or comments or feedback for Mustafa? Pete, let's start with you.
Hi. So Mustafa, thank you so much for the presentation. I was wondering how the issue of taxes will be handled, particularly if we consider the fiscal situation in Nigeria, and the fact that most people are in the informal economy. Is there a possibility your service could be seen as a sort of proxy for the informal economy, and thus, like they do with telecom, sort of become the whipping boy for the Minister of Finance?
Thanks, Pete. Great question. In relation to rewards programs and stored value tokens, as they're referred to over there, there are limits as to how much a person can earn per day, per month, etc. So, and we already have those in our terms of service, our rules and regulations, if you like, that will be part of the mobile app. So, but in general, this is the rewards token itself, the crypto token itself, the Kashi token. It's like a frequent flyer point. So assume it's like a frequent flyer point or any rewards point. You don't pay tax on that. But as a corporation, obviously, there's different tax rules in relation to that. Once we eventually reach the stage of introducing a coin, there will be different tax implications in relation to that, but we're not there yet. So we don't know what that would look like at the moment, specifically in Nigeria.
And what would be the countries that you would prioritize sort of in parallel or immediately following a launch in Nigeria?
Within the first couple of years, we would look to launch towards the end of year 2 in South Africa and Ghana. And if we can, depending on how fast we can grow, Mauritius as well. Ghana, because a lot of people from Nigeria, the high-end, let's say, income earners have summer homes and homes in Ghana as well. South Africa, for obvious reasons, it's another big economy. And Mauritius, because it's a tech location. But all of the other countries in our target markets are growing extremely fast, like Ethiopia. There are a few that are not on there, like Rwanda, and I've been to all of these countries, which could also come in parallel, but our main focus is on those key 7. We've had approaches from countries in Europe asking if we'd like to maybe consider those as a launch pad, but they just don't have the population in terms of being able to achieve the critical mass to be able to reach the levels that we want to reach, that we need to reach if we want to be successful within the time frame that we're setting ourselves.
Thank you.
Tony, any questions or comments for Mustafa?
Yeah, thanks, Mustafa. What you said, you've just gone through different countries and stuff like that. Okay, what is your criteria of which countries qualifies for yourself? Because there's a reason you've picked Nigeria to begin with, but how do you move on from there? Is there certain guidelines inside of your business stating, okay, a country has to have this amount of growth or this amount of internet access and stuff like that? Do you have a specific path, or is it more like this country or this country or this country?
No, thanks, Tony. No, it's based on the GDP, the earning per capita, the propensity to spend in those countries. So when I mentioned that our business case for Nigeria, well, we have a business case for all of the different markets, obviously, but in Nigeria, we've based that on an average spend of $25 per month per member. In South Africa, that's off the top of my head around $95 per month. And then in Ghana, it's about $30 per month. It's in those countries which makes where we can start making a profit in the first year as soon as we replicate what we've done in Nigeria. So it's based on the spending capability of the consumers in those markets.
Okay, and that's an interesting question you just said about US dollars. Okay, that is a big thing, especially in these countries where inflation and the forex market is quite volatile. How are you going to base your $25 on this? And the reason why I'm asking this, okay, is because we have operations in Nigeria. We have an office there, and we're just expanding our office in Nigeria. We've been there for 3 years. My business partner is there at the moment. And we understand the market, what you're talking about, and the opportunity. So from our point of view, we are looking at it, and we're very interested to have a follow-up call with you. Is okay. How are you going to control the FX market? That's a huge thing, because $25 in January is very different to $25 today.
Yeah, well, $25 was obviously used as a benchmark for our business case. In terms of the rewards program, I mentioned that the token itself would be transparent in value. It will be fixed in value. The Kashi token will always be equal to $1. So whereas the Naira was 360 to the dollar a few weeks ago, and I think it's like 450 now, one Kashi token will always be $1. So in terms of spend, obviously it affects the people, especially now people have lost their jobs, not earning, there's been furloughs in the UK and everywhere. They've only just eased the lockdown in Lagos, in Nigeria as well. But in terms of the propensity to spend, it's still there. Certain dynamics have changed. More and more people are looking to be having goods delivered to their homes. And there's been like 500 odd websites that have appeared offering services to deliver goods that have been purchased from like Hubmart, Spar, places like this. So that's something else that we're looking at that we can maybe cater to without changing our scope too much or at all. At the end of the day, it's being able to collect credit from your spend. So it's cash back. It's actual fungible cash that you can use based on your spend, which we think will continue to be attractive.
Okay, perfect. So drop me a message afterwards and I'll have a discussion with you.
Sure. Thanks, Tony. Thanks very much.
Perfect. Eduardo, I want to get any questions or comments for Eduardo. Luis, any questions or comments for Eduardo?
Hi. Yes, just I'm from Brazil as well, so I think it's I live in Miami now, but I'm from Brazil. I think this is a great there's a great market for your solution. I think it's you're in the right path. So I have no comments on the product side. I think again, you're on the right path. Just a comment on the pitch. I think it was too crowded, your presentation. Just try to make it less technical, because, for example, I'm not into the cryptocurrency, into the technicality. So a lot of what you explained there, I couldn't understand, even if I think that the product is nice. So try to mix more of a general presentation with a technical, and whenever whoever wants to get more about the technical side will contact you, and you have the opportunity to show more on the technical side. And when you have it's a lot of 5 minutes like we have here, you have to tailor your presentation to the 5 minutes. So the sprint you had on your presentation, it's not ideal for for us, the investors, to get hooked and want to learn more. So it takes time, I know, to prepare a presentation for each pitch session you have, but that's life. That's what it takes. So again, product amazing, great solution, a lot of market there in Brazil. Just pay a little more attention on the pitch, so you don't lose your audience for too many technical issues, and just going through the presentation very fast. Just this is the time you have to get the attention, and you have to hook your investor the easiest way possible.
Perfect, Luis. Thank you. And actually, that's a dilemma that we're kind of used to when you're talking about cutting edge technology, blockchain, and wallet instant payments. We are used to, doing the little tweaks regarding the audience. But yeah, that's totally something that we should work on. And the sprint, because I was at the end of the pitch, because I had the timer here, and I saw the 5 minutes, running out, and I didn't know if they would stop me, so I needed to sprint. But yeah, there's something that we're definitely gonna be pay attention to. Thank you for the feedback. Obrigado.
Valeu.
Awesome. Pete, I saw you wave your hand real quick. Do you got a quick question for our Eduardo?
Yeah, first, Eduardo, I thought the presentation was very strong. It was a bit rushed, as Luis had mentioned, but I think the technical strength of the team sort of came through to me very clearly. I know Brazil creates like outstanding engineers, especially in it's not typically known, but from my experience, very strong in terms of technical competence. What I would like is if there was some way you could address the sort of 500-pound gorilla in the room, which is Facebook, and the way that, whether it's Messenger, Instagram, or what's the third one they have, WhatsApp. Between those three, they have something like 100% of like the Brazilian messaging landscape, and eventually Libra will be integrated into those messaging platforms. How would your Panda Pay sort of fit into that world of the messaging apps and the sort of B2C communications over these messaging apps with payments and such?
Perfect. That's an excellent question. Actually, I could take as long as 30 minutes answering it, because what happened here is, so first point, Libra. I don't believe that Libra will go, roll out as it was planned. Initially, it won't, and basically now they are starting to feel like every partnership on the financial service market kind of like left the project. So even Visa and MasterCard, and here in Brazil, we are getting to a trend of open markets and more competitiveness, especially regarding startups. So we have the instant payment system front, we have the open banking front, and the central bank is rolling it out in Brazil. So the instant payment system that we actually involved is basically each wallet should be able to connect and communicate and transfer between each wallet. So the barrier of having a bank behind it or a financial institutions that actually is enabling the whole operation will be down. That barrier will be out. So a lot of big institutions already looking on the electronic payment market, but our main differentiator here is the token. So we can connect and supply a market that is not well supplied right now. That is the crypto market, especially regarding the financial services that are available to them. So we have a token attached to the wallet that can ease the check-in and check-out to the crypto exchanges. As I said, we have more than 1.4 million people register on these exchanges. So what happens now, the pain to the market right now is the cash out is expensive and cumbersome because of the financial service that the bank offered to the crypto exchanges. So we have a bank behind it, we have a crypto, Panda Pay have a bank behind it, a crypto exchange behind it, and a token attached to the wallet to ease the cash in and cash out problem and start to listing this token on the crypto exchanges, so we can have something just like the USDC here in Brazil.
Awesome. Thank you, Eduardo. Pete, great question. Gokul, did you have a question or any feedback for Eduardo quickly as we get to our next startup here?
Yes. Kyle, actually, I missed one question from Mustafa as well. Can I ask now?
Sure.
Thank you. Mustafa, could you please tell us why have you chosen Stellar for the Kashi platform?
Thanks, Gokul. The main reason is in terms of scalability and speed. It's just we feel there's compared to the other platforms. In fact, one of the developer teams that we're working with, just really quickly, they wanted to work with us, and they said they were working on a similar project. They recommended using Ethereum, and we said why? You need to look at Stellar. Just because of the speed and the services that they provide for micropayments. They've got their Stellar Dex, the decentralized exchange, which is free. Without going into too much more, I can, but I don't want to take up the time of our other startups. So there's a number of reasons that we're using them. They just fit our profile.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Speed, scalability.
Sure. And my question to Eduardo, it was, of course, like Mustafa also, you had a good presentation, Eduardo. Would like to know, you have built a good wallet platform for Brazil, right? But have you created a marketplace around your product, your wallet? What I can see is you have given more focus to building a wallet which will connect to the exchange, and it can function as a good wallet. But how will you attract the current crypto investors, crypto consumers, and the future DeFi consumers into this?
Perfect. That's great. So being the only wallet available for integration and listing the token, starting with the crypto landscape, users want to pay a bill here in Brazil, pay something, with their cryptos and have the liquidity basically. So what we're gonna to acquire the market, we will reach out to the crypto exchanges and say, hey, you have a bank account here in a big bank that's trying to close in it, on justice, and you're paying a lot of fees in each transactions, and you cannot open in various amount of institutions. So you can give these opportunity, this option to your clients to cash out and cash in through a digital wallet that got a bank behind it, so it's extremely safe regarding financial services. And there will be instant 24/7 that is actually not in Brazil today, and you're gonna pay lower fees, and you still have the options to pay bills, to transfer, to cash out to your own bank, and on the next near future, DeFi products, so collateral lending, just like Uniswap, just like MakerDAO, and being an ERC20 token, we just can, plug in and plug out on the network and start building products. And when we start to thinking about open finance, everybody imagine building products up inside, using the Brazilian token. So that's what we envision.
Great.
Awesome.
So you're expecting that the crypto banks and the other digital banks and open finance will connect you to the people, right? More than, so you are not, are you not looking at expanding into this marketplace?
Yeah, totally. But right now we start to bring in, the user base. That is basically the biggest part of it. And reaching out to the crypto exchanges that already got this problem that we can 100%, give the solution and bring their customer base. That's when we start to reach out to partners that kind of like outside the crypto landscape.
Great, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Eduardo, thank you very much. Next up, Charlie. I want to get some question feedback to Charlie. So Tilo, let's start with you. Any quick comments or questions for Charlie?
Specifically to Charlie, maybe I can just make one general comment. I think Luis got also a bit in this direction. I think all three are amazing entrepreneurs and have very amazing products. I personally think sometimes less is more, right? I felt general all three presentations being kind of a bit overcrowded and overloaded with information, especially if you just have 5 minutes. And I think it's also important to think clearly about positioning. For example, Mustafa, the first presentation, had in the first slide, I wrote it down, something was empowering the world, blah, blah, blah. but it was saying nothing that could be literally every company could saying this claim, right? So I think it's very important, especially if you have this unique opportunity to talk to so many amazing investors and have also such great substantial products and services to really get to the point and think about the logic, problem, solution, right? And make it also for non-technical and non-expert in this field understandable. I think this may be a bit more general advice, but I think it applies to all three of you. But amazing entrepreneurs, amazing products, and I'm very curious to hear who is the winner of tonight. Thank you.
We're almost there. We're almost there. David, any comments or feedback for Charlie?
So Charlie's business is a very interesting sector, and this sector definitely draw lots of attentions and cash last few years. Yes, California is also in the same boat right now. So my question is about your founding history. And right now, you only mentioned one of the team member has strong background in the legal area, but on the business area, since you have 3 team members and you didn't introduce other team members. So my question are 2. Number 1 is the team. Number 2 is that in those areas, how do you get your initial phase of a client? Sorry, my third question is your founding history. You're muted, Charlie.
Sorry about that. So funding history, we've raised about 1.2 million so far. That's been all founders and friends. Actually, no family, unfortunately, in that. And so what was the other question you had about the team specifically?
You have 3 team members listed on there, and you only mentioned 1 team member is has strong legal compliance background. That's it. What about your 3rd team member? Maybe let me elaborate the question a little more. So typically, you want to know is that how many full-time team members you have, and what are the roles?
So we have 3 full-time members. Greg Anderson is the CEO. Greg's background is in real estate and real estate development, which really supports very well to our lending business. My background is I spent 15 years or so down as a derivatives specialized structured financial products trader, where I modeled, created, traded all types of derivative products, which helped create what Series Coin and Series Token are. And the other full-time member is Sean McNamara, who used to work for Jump Trading and for the New York Stock Exchange as coding and doing a lot of the risk management as far as dealing with high frequency trading and the models used to do that type of trading. So it's a really good balance, we think, of what we're trying to do. As far as compliance, I've become a compliance expert. Having done the last 18 months with the SEC, we've learned from each other in doing what we're doing. So I think it puts us in an elite minority in how the SEC is looking at digital assets right now in this 18-month experience that we have had with them.
And Tess, any final questions or comments quickly for Charlie just before we announce the winner here?
Great. Yeah, I think everyone did a great job. The panelists also has some good insights, so I can keep this short. I would love to find out very quickly if you can remind me, or if you have not shared yet, how much are you targeting to raise, and how long is the current runway? This way I can, think about if, there's interest in investing, I can help, strategically, hopefully help you think through if there are, individuals that you guys can help raise a small round after we do diligence.
Sure. Runway right now, we got about 12 months. We're looking for an equity investor in advance of this $30 million token sale. And that's really to build out a marketing team to make sure that this token sale goes off with the same degree of success that Blockstack did. I anticipate being able to launch, and again, once we're able to launch this as part of the Reg A, this can go to any retail investor anywhere in the world. So we're very confident in that. But we are looking for an equity investor, someone who wanted to take a stake to help lead that sale. We're capping that at $1 million, actually, unless you wanted to negotiate for more, because I think our valuation will significantly increase upon a successful token sale, which again is non-dilutive.
That's excellent. Yeah, an equity raise makes a lot of sense, and I think in this current environment, there will be a good demand of investors that actually appreciate the equity side.
Thanks, Tess. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you.
Yes.
So we've got two more quick questions that just pinged me. They've got to be quick because we are delayed at getting the winner out. So Pete, I'll let you go first for Charlie. I believe it was that you had a question for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the equity raise that you're targeting, this is the. Are we talking about a different class of equity than the Reg A Plus? Is it like some different types of shares? If you could walk us through that.
Sure, really quickly. So what we've done with these series tokens, all we have done is tokenize the revenue stream of our business model. It is not giving away any equity at all. They do have minimal voting rights, but there is no equity being given away at all. In advance of this, what I'm talking about, this $500,000 to $1 million would be an actual equity stake in Series Coin LLC, which is right now currently 100% owned by us. And it would be an equity stake in that. And then also possibly talking about an option on being able to acquire tokens or options on those tokens in advance of the Reg A sale.
Luis, you said you had one question. Thank you, by the way, Pete and Charlie. Apologies. But Luis, you said you had a super quick question.
Super quick. Charlie, just one question. You mentioned about banking solutions. Do you have in your plan or in the future something to work towards the merchant solution for the cannabis industry? Because I invested in a company that was selling just the CBD product, and we had a big headache with merchant solutions. So you mentioned banking solutions. I just want to know whether you have something on your mind.
So it's an interesting question, because to buy or acquire our stable coins, which then can be used and transferred the ownership of them to someone else on this permission network, that initial sale of the coins can be done using a credit card, because all you're doing is funding a brokerage account. So it'd be funding of a brokerage account to actually purchase a security. So it would layer fee on top of fee, but we are right now able to do that, where a credit card could actually be used to fund your account, which could be used to buy coins, which then the coins could be used to transfer over and purchase your product. The user experience would almost feel like, oh, I just funded my Series account with my credit card. Now I'm buying marijuana with it. It wouldn't be all those steps that I just described.
Understood. Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And speakers and judges, I know you have more questions and they're incoming. Unfortunately, we do have to continue. We'll make sure everyone gets connected afterwards. I know all of the founders would be incredibly grateful to speak to each and every one of you. So we'll make sure that happens, or feel free to drop your information in our chat. So founders, great job today. Mustafa, Charlie, Eduardo, solid work, as everyone has commented and said. Without further ado, today's winner is Charlie. Congratulations, Charlie, for winning. You get a little golf clap, little clap from everybody. Elena, we'll get with you, and Mustafa even gives you one as well. Elena will get with you on next steps around that process. Again, congratulations. Nice emoji, Eduardo. As we wrap up, Charlie, send us off on the founders. Quick 30-second speech, and then where can everyone find you?
So yeah, I really appreciate everyone. Really appreciate all the VCs that were on here. And again, it's my couple times that I've done this. I always learn so much from the other entrepreneurs on here, and especially today, since we're all talking about a different type of stable coin and its use cases that I would have never thought of. And I think it's awesome, and learned quite a bit from both Mustafa and Eduardo. Again, we're at www.seriescoin.io. I'm at Charlie at seriescoin.io. I'm on Twitter and on LinkedIn too. And again, we are looking for a venture investor for an equity stake in this. And I think it's a great opportunity to take an equity stake and also have some liquidity with a security token offering. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, Charlie. Eduardo, same to you. Where can everyone find you?
So first of all, thank you everybody. They can find me at LinkedIn Eduardo Salvatore or through panapay.com.br website, and my email is eduardo@panapay.com.br. So many ways.
Awesome. Mustafa, same to you. Where can everyone find you?
Thanks, Carl. And congratulations, Charlie. Great job. I'd like to echo these comments. Definitely learned a lot today from the speakers and from Charlie and from Eduardo. www.ukashi.com. That's an S followed by 2 I's. And on there, we have the profiles of our team members, and you can get in contact with us whenever you like. We'd be delighted to speak to you.
Wonderful. Great work to all of you today. Congratulations, each and every one of you, putting yourself and the company out there and pitching to each of us and our audience as well. And again, we'll make sure everyone gets connected as well. Speakers, same process. Where can everyone find you? Gokul, start with you. Where can everyone find you?
Hi, it was a great conversation with the crypto entrepreneurs and all the visionaries and investors. You can all find me in LinkedIn. I'm Gokul Alex. And you can also find me in Twitter as Gokul Gaze. I am representing a lot of cryptocurrencies in India. Specifically, I represent Algorand, Eternity, Tezos, and earlier Zcash, currently Electrical Coin. So any conversations on cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, blockchain security and privacy, I'm always there. And happy to get connected with LA Token. Thank you, Elena and Kai, for organizing such a great session.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us all the way from India today. Tony, same to you. Where can everyone find you?
Thanks. LinkedIn, the Tokyo Tony. I'm on there. Drop me a message. I'm focused more on the finance side of things. I'm interested in the projects, especially the cannabis and the Nigeria one. But I'm also looking at any kind of projects that are or any kind of help. So feel free to drop me a message and I can get back to you guys. Thanks for everything.
Awesome. Thank you. David, same question to you. Where can everyone find you?
So my LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, WeChat, Telegram ID is the same. My first name and last name, David Cao, and then add 01, David Cao 01 everywhere. You can find me, but I preferable LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. Thank you.
Awesome. Luis, same to you. Where can everyone find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn as well, Luis with a Z, Freitas. There you're going to find all my contact info. I'm glad to be here again. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Kyle. Amazing moderation and amazing event. And I'll send my email to everyone here in this group, and I'll be glad to help with the pitch, with whatever I can be useful. I think I love to invest my time and help all these amazing solutions to be successful.
Thank you, Luis. Tess, same to you. Where can everyone find you?
Yes, thanks. I wrote it on chat. Twitter is good, and also LinkedIn. I just want to say thank you to everyone. It was a great, group of entrepreneurs, and having such a great panel of all the panelists. It's such a global opportunity today of what everyone is doing, covering different opportunities, different pain points, and I have such a global panel. I really enjoyed today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you as well. Pete, where can everyone find you? And then I got a quick question that just came in from the audience for you. So where can everyone find you?
All right. You can find me on LinkedIn primarily. Lyons Pete. That's Lyons Pete. Physically, I'm in New York. If anyone at some point ever comes to visit, and the world is back on track, happy to meet then as well. And
awesome. Question from the audience, super quick. Is the Bitcoin having an investment opportunity for investors?
I think it's a bit of marketing hype, frankly. If you look at 2016, the halving back then and today, back then there wasn't a futures market, right? So I think today you have a futures market for Bitcoin, means that there could be sort of mechanisms, for, if it gets bid up, there's those that could essentially bet against it, I think, more easily. So it's, I think long-term Bitcoin is great, but I don't see any sort of like near-term, like huge trading opportunity there.
Awesome. Thank you. Tilo, same to you. Where can everyone find you? And then I got a quick question that came in for you specifically as well.
Oh, yeah, on all the user channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you feel comfortable, just add me and follow me. I'm happy to see you all there.
Awesome. The question is, as a major investor, what is the one thing that really helps you decide to invest in a company? Is it the product, technology, team, or the community that they may build?
It's the 5T. It's first of all the team. It's a second, of course, the traction, right? Is there something that already moves and goes in the right direction? Three, of course, the technology that's based on. Is it something really, unique and solid? It's obviously also the timing, right? I mean, I see a lot of things that are amazing that we are now, sorry, that we can talk for 3 years about that, but I don't believe in it. And 5, territory in a way, is it really something that can scale globally, or is it more like a phenomenon or something that maybe makes sense in the US or in a certain market, whatever, in Vietnam or wherever, but doesn't have the potential to really go global? That's my 5T. And if you all can make check, then please call me.
And then reach out and call Tilo. Everyone, thank you so much to our speakers and our judges. Really appreciate all your time and the great insights that you provided from around the world on everything that's happening in this market. And hopefully our audience, along with our founders, will take that, make adjustments, and work towards a successful future. To our founders, congratulations to each and every one of you. You all did a solid job today. It takes a lot to put yourself out there, especially in this new environment in a more virtual world, and adjusting to pitching and interacting with investors like this. And Charlie, congratulations today on being the winner of the online competition. To you, our community, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back here on Monday. I'll be here with Elena and the team to talk a little bit more what's happening at VCTV, and a shout out to Elena and the LLE Token team for all the work they do behind the scenes to make this happen. Everyone have a great day.